So gaming is more universal and not so niche because now we understand that gaming really transcends generations. When we look at the overall population of gamers in the world, there's 1.3 billion gamers on Earth. In this country alone, there's over 217 million. So that means three quarters, every train car you're in, three quarters of that population they consider themselves gamers. And when you look at the different device and the consumption habits for each generation, it really speaks to a different need state. When you look at the older generation, which surprisingly is the fastest growing gaming population, 55 plus, this is where your mobile gaming is really big. This is where people are playing the Candy Crush. And I always joke that like, if you play Wordle, congratulations, you're a gamer. But then you think of like there is also cross-generational playing, like you have grandparents playing with grandchildren. There was a study on the Nintendo Wii years ago that like gameplay actually helps improve your cognitive function the older you get. Then when you get into the millennials, this is an audience and a generation that grew up gaming. So it's still a part of their DNA. But these are people who have jobs and kids, so their gameplay habits are more so like, here's how I wind down after work. And it's finding those free time and those spaces to game. But these are where you're seeing they're playing a lot more Call of Duty, like snackable gaming. And then when you go into Gen Z and Gen Alpha, they came into a world where gaming is a part of their everyday consumption behavior. So you see there's a lot more time spent. And there's a lot more time spent throughout the gaming ecosystem. So they're watching their favorite creators, they're reading all the content, they're watching other people play video games. So gaming to them is much more than a hobby, it's part of their everyday life and it fits in different ways. And we also see that in just the proliferation of gaming in pop culture. All of our TV shows now are an adaptation of a video game. We have Last of Us, which was a big hit, Fallout, which was another big hit. And that's not going to stop. It's going to continue to keep growing and they're going to continue to adapt it. And you're going to see gaming start to really like permeate different parts of culture more so than before.
Gamers don't like to be interrupted in their games. So advertisers have to be really careful about how they place their ads and in terms of it being seamless. So what are some tips or strategies you could suggest or your thoughts on this in terms of balancing authenticity for the gamers and being effective advertising vehicles?
That's a great question. I think it's really about being honest with the brand. So if you're a CPG brand, it's really finding avenues of finding spaces within the gaming environment that really speak to being a CPG brand, and then finding an avenue into gaming. So there's different ways in from a gaming perspective, whether that's surrounding editorial, whether that's partnering with creators. You're seeing a trend towards a lot of customization, and there's a lot of creativity in like the likes of a Roblox or a Fortnite or a Minecraft. And that might work for some clients in a very authentic way that really speaks to, you know, the gameplay environment, but it doesn't work for everyone. So it's really about having, you know, what I call spirit guides there to help, you know, make sure that you're entering the space in a correct way. And I think there's a opportunity for every client, but not every space is right for everyone. So it might be entering the community and supporting the community. But when we think of like in-game, there's different creative, you know, ways and creative avenues that clients can enter that, you know, make sense for the brand and is authentic to the brand and is also relevant and authentic to the space that they're entering in.
Are there any trends or innovations you want to share that have had sort of a more immersive impact on gaming, the gaming experience?
Yeah, I think live service gaming is a big one. We see this coming up with Grand Theft Auto 6. They're saying that that's going to be a live service. We've seen the success of games such as Helldivers 2, which it's like you buy the game and it's a game that's going to just live in perpetuity. So I envision there's going to be a trend towards more of those type games as, you know, more developers start to figure out the right formula for how to do that in a way that is, you know, authentic to the gameplay and it really provides something of value to the audience. And I think there's also going to be a trend towards like more interconnectivity. There's going to be more cross-device play, which I think is something that's we've been trending towards this for years. But I think the next iteration of that is really going to lead us towards a more screen agnostic gaming experience, and to a period where it's more, device ubiquity. So you see the likes of like a Microsoft and an Xbox, they're moving away from the console model into something that's more cloud streaming. So you're going to see a lot more, gaming developers and brands trend in that direction where I can pick up any device and start game playing on that device. And what that leaves is an opportunity for brands to now, instead of just focusing on console, I got to develop a strategy on how I'm reaching my audience across each screen.
What sort of advice would you give advertisers to stay ahead of the curve with gamers?
Just be very meaningful. Like, make sure that you're listening to the community, which is what a lot of developers and which a lot of gaming companies are doing. I think the community plays a big role. I think also it's understanding that gamers are not a monolith. I think in terms of gaming engagement and what gamers, the things that they're interested in, it's not just gaming. Your gamer is interested in music, your gamer is interested in anime, your gamer is interested in fashion, your gamer is interested in music. So understanding your audience beyond just a passion point and understanding like the total body of the audience, I think they'll tell you what they're into next, and they'll let you know, where the trends are going and where it's taking them.